I just recently got a question from a viewer. I think it was about giving more advice about how to improve the world. I'm not sure the exact wording, but I am responding to that because I know that the same person was writing a lot to me. So when people do that, I address them directly, but also I'm putting this in terms of the whole public, so I'm looking at the comments right now, and I know that Scorponic 333 also asked me something about Lucifer. I know I didn't get back to that video, and I'm still working on it. But forgive me if I say you may be disappointed. I'm telling you that it is a lot of hype about Lucifer. Okay, it was Juan Valentin Arrigu. Here it is. He says, what I would suggest, since you ask for feedback, is that perhaps you should also talk about issues that the people who listen to you want to know or debate. In my case, I would like to hear more about good and evil. Also, one thing that really expletive with my mind is the concept of natural and artificial. I often debate that such things as technology and computers, and if you want to be subjective, anything that exists in the earth is from the earth. There is for natural. Is it really like the natural is the good and the artificial is the evil? What about natural disasters? What about supervolcanoes? Is it good because it's natural? Okay. Actually, I just want to say that you wrote quite an impressive book here in the comment, and I really like that when people get involved, but I also want to say this does happen, but I really can't, unless I print it out and dissect it right in front of you, I can't be exact, but I'm trying to get the essence of what you're looking for, and I agree, it is what a lot of people come to the channel and the network for, because that's what I'm exploring. That's my whole deal here. So the thing about good and evil, alright? We have to get through the debate of whether or not it actually exists, whether there's this duality, and what is the proper way to live our life. What is the way of life after we settle the question, the debate? Okay, so and you put it into the framework of the natural and the artificial. I would say that is Earth, but also natural man versus the machine and the scientific technology man. So it's split within humanity, whether we just want to be with natural raw materials and resources, the natural culture, or whether we want to be with the high-tech, everything changing every day because of industry type of modern sci-fi culture. So we're split, and so I think that is a focused discussion. You could take that discussion in different ways and change it. It's not an absolute. And I just want to clarify that because there's other things in reality that it's not touching on. So it's actually an easy question for myself. I've done a lot with it. But it's not an easy solution. I'm in the middle of the solution, actually. That's why I do the videos, because I wonder if my whole lifestyle is about talking to the camera, talking to people that are through the internet. So it's dependent on technology, yet at the same time I'm trying to live this life on the earth, in nature, with plants around me, where we're not wired in all the time. So I'm creating something that takes a lot of time, effort, planning, development, and money, and people working that machine to establish this. I'm just getting it off the ground now, and I have been talking about this publicly even before the internet. It was the early 90s. Internet was in the colleges. My brother was in college. The first time I did major surfing was either 92 or 93. And which, if you look historically, that's true. In 90 and 91, I don't think anybody even heard of the internet or had experienced it. But I was looking at how to live a better life, and I was really against technology at that point. I was against computers. I was against phones. Mobile phones were just coming out. People had car phones. One of my really good friends was working for the telephone company in Georgia, and so there's this raging debate that I had going on when I was much younger. So all this will go into details in my upcoming memoirs. Hopefully they'll be good biological, biographical record that comes out of that, so that it's very organized and people can start from a very general outline. You can go very quickly to skim through that, or you can go in depth and go through the details and what I say and pictures and everything else. I want it provable. Everything that I say is based on fact and reality, and I have witnesses, because I want multiple perspectives. I don't want it just me talking about it. I want the people that were there. Unfortunately, some of them are dead now. Some of them can't be found, or some of them may not talk. They will eventually. You can pry them open like a clamshell. They will talk. Or if they're not shy, or if they're just not like grinding an axe with the grudge. So that's a little bit of a sign of personal things, interpersonal, that keeps the world from improving. A lot of that is really where the global crisis comes from, because when you have a world leader in one part of the world and then another one, if they don't get along, it shows that it's from past life karma, and they have inherited the national problems. So between their nations, it generates an international crisis that drags everyone into it, everybody. That's actually what's going on. And a lot of the times it's just as simple as one guy stole a woman from another guy, and they can't get over it. And I'm not saying that they should be able to get over it. Sometimes it has to be a war. The most famous ancient war in Western civilization, Western culture, and Western literature had been written by Homer. I was going to mention the Bible, right? But Homer wrote about the Trojan War, and the start, or the reaching the height of Hellenistic civilization and culture. And Helen is the reason why they call it Hellenistic. So Helen is like this representative embodiment of that whole nation. Who was she? Well, she's the face that launched 1,000 ships. Her beauty, her charisma, her influence and power just drove the whole development of the people. The Greeks, the ancient Greeks, or I would say the middle ancient Greeks. They were not the earliest Greeks, which we don't even know about these days. Those were the Greeks that fought the Atlanteans, which is legendary, prehistoric. But if two kings, even at that time, would fight over a woman, you have to realize that this is much more common than we talk about. It's not well explored. So, my advice for the world is about this. It goes to the personal level, and even yourselves out there, my viewers, if you watch me and you wonder how I have a life that I do, this kind of a lifestyle. I'm involved with let's just say multiple women, multiple children, multiple locations, but yet at the same time it looks like I'm in poverty, or you can't really figure it out. Yeah, there's something going on there, and I have to deal with all these challenges that are relationship based and very personal. Because if I was to get to a world stage, if I get some kind of official position, which I'm not in a rush to do, by the way, but I know that if I get there, I have to be more together. Like, I have to get everything all straightened out. I can't go and then all of a sudden have a divorce and this and that within that stage. All that has to be taken care of in the beginning. So when it comes to good and evil, let's just rewind, because that's a more generalistic view, because good and evil is supposed to exist even beyond people. See? Like if a wild lion jumps out of the bushes when you're walking somewhere, and there's no police there, there's no one to defend you, what happens? Is that a relationship problem? No. No. It's like, it's an animal out in nature, and it's about to sink its fangs into your neck, and its claws are going to rip open your rib cage. This is reality. What do you do in that moment? You think, oh, this is evil. It's not just people that are evil. So, or it could be as primal and geological as a boulder rolling down towards your camp, and you have a split second to realize, like, good and evil. How do I survive? So, all these things take my breath away. Just thinking about it, like, I don't need any more thrills. My life is, like, exciting enough. How do these things occur? The rabbis asked, summed it up, why do good things happen to good people? If God was good, why would he allow evil? And then people even take a blasphemous stance, like atheistic, the antagonistic atheism, that You know, God allows all this evil. See, he's not a good God. God is evil. You know, so you take this asinine approach toward blaming everything on God as if God is in control of all things. But that's the point of evil. God doesn't control it. If we had a God that controlled everything, we wouldn't be alive. We wouldn't be sentient beings. Free will would cease to exist. And if free will was not existent, there would be nobody to worship God. So just realize that there is a bigger scheme of things, and by using logic, we can figure that out. There's a good and evil world, or a good and evil reality, good and evil universe, because we have free will. We are here to decide how we navigate through this. Good is what we obviously want. That is the logical definition of it. Good is preferred. We're all good. Not all the time, but all of us are created out of goodness. That's what life is. However, when the things clash, even in survival, even when an animal wants to eat you, or even when people want to eat other animals, that is where evil creeps in. Life cannot take life. And I'm talking within the animal sphere of things. We can take plant life, and then that's a whole other question. People want to be defensive about plants and say, oh, you pulled the roots out, they hurt. You know, their little non-existent mouths and their non-existent eyes are crying and screaming, and you know, they want to go that far. I don't actually go that far, because I realize that plant life is very different. There are levels of existence. I'll give you 4 levels that I can describe, and the top level is the one that's very... It's okay. No. Okay, anyhow, sorry about those distractions. The lowest level we'll start with is rocks, minerals. Okay, that's what we walk on all the time. You even see it out in space. You see these rocks going around, asteroids and stuff. So this is the solid material of the planets. And it probably has an overall consciousness. And that's why earthquakes happen and volcanoes. That's why there's this overall movement of the huge mass of material. But we cannot discern life in there. We just see it as material. But yet, it has a life of its own, a very low, primordial, primal life experience. And when it's broken down to the smallest level in soil, and when it's able to grow plant life out of it, it is becoming a food. So that means that that life is being given up and reassimilated into the bodies of the next higher level, into the plant bodies. So the plants are actually killing the rocks for their own survival. That's allowed. That's a good system. Now let's talk about the next higher, which are the plants. The plants are then growing and getting plentiful, and animals, all kinds of animal life, everything that moves around, most of them have faces, almost all of them have mouths. They're eating the plants so that they can assimilate that material into their body. That's their food. And this is also good. Now, we can even talk of humans not being animals. A human, they want to say, is coming out of that like it's the highest animal, and that it has a right to eat everything else. But no other animal can eat humans. So that's where the debate comes in. That's where the confusion arises. because it's actually a higher level above us, which I already said was very difficult to discuss. And in fact, I'm gonna retract that. I can't talk about that right now because it has something to do with the angelic, demonic forces. It has something to do with viruses and disease, plagues that come in. I can't really go into that during this video. It's way beyond the scope of what I can do here, talking about good and evil. So good and evil has a lot to do with survival, and if we imagine that we're not going to survive, then we call that evil. It's just logic. And we're going to think that anything helping us to survive and, supportive of our life is good. It's goodness in the world. So when we equate that with a supernatural force, like above the human level, superhuman level, supernatural it could be like superhuman too, then we're contemplating God. And on the other side, with the evil, we start to contemplate the devil. So that's why I did the other video before on Lucifer. Lucifer's a created word. It's basically a Latin word, and it gained connotations. It didn't originally have a lot of meaning until it started rolling with connotation, and today it's blown way out of proportion, as if evil has all these differentiated sources. It's always the same source. See, evil is always the same. It is anything, like I said, that goes against your life. Now, the competition has to be seen within one level of life form. So we just stick to the human life. Even though there's a native tradition, tribalism, or primalism, pantheism, humans can be attached or related to animals. Like that's your totem animal. And many people have many animals. It's not just like the majority of us have one animal. Sometimes we relate that way, but it's usually a combination because we're working on multiple aspects of ourselves. Like for example, I have multiple totems. There is also a precaution to not share your totem publicly. It's kind of a sacred thing that you keep secret. But anyhow, it can be discussed within people that are trusting. I can mention one animal. Like I did a video on the other channel of okapi. Do a search okapi Internet Global, and you'll be able to find the video. So I did that video because an okapi offspring, the little baby, was born in the zoo, and so my kids were looking at it. And okapi have been one of my totems a long time, even before I ever had children. So why, I don't know. It's just animals come to you. It's just a part of your development. So having said that, the human individual is defined by different different variations that it can be. But we are always human in general, and when we deal with other humans, there's usually conflict. But the wisest approach is to try to be in harmony with all other types of humans. That's what I try to do. When I go to different countries, or if I go on the internet here, I'm trying to relate or share or connect with as many kinds of people as possible. Unfortunately, video is linear, so if you don't hear it in the first minute, like, someone might tune off. But if they listen for the whole thing, they will find a part where they say, I totally agree with that. Obviously, if it's a troll, they may not agree with anything, or if they're a hater, they're going to hate you no matter what. So you can't please all the people all the time. You can try, though. And I think that eventually it will open their heart up. You know, they will come to love you in the long run. And that's what Jesus Christ did, because he was all about goodness. But I don't think that because you see that side of Jesus, he wasn't a pushover in any way. I think if you're around Jesus, if you have that opportunity, if in your past life, or if you just think about it hypothetically, or if you think about it the way in religion they think on a spirit level, you are with Jesus already. So this experience with that that figure can make you feel like he's with you, he's embracing you like fully, and he cares about you for goodness sake. He wants to just grant you a good life, but you have to do things for that. It's not just here. I'm giving it to you. See, it's free. It doesn't work that way, as Paul wanted to say, or many other misguided Christians want to think that, you know, it's just say the name of Jesus and everything's going to be okay. Boom, you know, from then on. It doesn't work that way. That's only part of it. Yeah, that's part of it. Confess Jesus for the first time with your mouth and believe in Christ, the holy power of Christ, which is love. But that's just the beginning of your striving for goodness and striving to be like Jesus. If we say that when we take on Jesus and we join with Jesus, then it's all over, you can do whatever you want, is that what Jesus did? Because when you join with Jesus, you then have to become like Jesus. You have to walk as Jesus did. You have to be as Jesus lived. Jesus had a hard life. In fact, it even means that a lot of martyrs that you see, the saints that the Catholics look up to, you might have to give up your life for your faith. And don't worry, you know, Jesus did it too. You confess Jesus with your mouth, and then when they come to kill you, you let it happen. So this is the proof's in the pudding. And I'm not saying that everybody has to be crucified like Jesus. I'm sure that all of us that are really with Jesus went through ultimate hardship. Because good has to confront evil. So I think that's what you wanted to know, that the conflict is a pitched battle of an all-out war. And as I always talk about war, I face the violent things, and I'm telling you that there will be a victory, and it's coming soon. These world wars that we've had are just a warm-up session. Yeah, so I guess I just want to wrap it up because you asked in terms of the machine and what's natural. I think I did touch on that, but just to say about the machine, I don't necessarily say that the machine is good because humans are so superior and whatever we create is going to be wonderful. That's not true at all. Every machine, every technology that's been created has the potential to be evil. It is not inherently good. Okay? So by saying that, I think that explains it all. We have to do things purposely to make machines. I gotta take up the phone. I could call up for some. Hello? Yeah, give me some phone sex. Yeah, I don't care about you. I know. Well, you're just a machine. But I'm gonna get off on that. It's not hurting anybody, but well, maybe ultimately I am hurting myself because there's someone human in the world for me. So if I stay on the phone too long, having this phone sex, isn't that evil coming out of technology and the machine? So the artificial world can't be all good. So, things like that, you have to be able to, see that the potential is going to be tapped, but we can make good out of it or evil. We have to learn by the experience. So in saying that, I'm not against technology, I'm not against the machine. I believe that we have to use it with awareness, and that's what I'm trying to tell people to do. I'm trying to teach people about that. I'm trying to regulate it. I think my greatest advice in closing is that we need to get organized. None of this is going to happen, and we're not going to succeed unless we're going to succeed together. It has to be a group experience. That's why I'm always reaching out, and ultimately I just want everybody to have a festival where we can really join and make a commitment to each other, because it can't be done through the machine. We need to have human, face-to-face meetings, and I've told everybody this for years. Like, if you've been watching me for 6 years, you know that I'm eventually preparing for the time when I can shake your hand, you can see me, you can have a word with me. Probably not like a lot of time, because there's going to be so many people that I need to meet with, but think about it. As soon as they activate with you, you can go on and meet with other people that have more time, and that's who you're really there to work with. I'm just making meetings with people. I'm like a huge global matchmaker, and we're going to have this event eventually coming up. I'm pumping up for it. I'm trying to do this. I'm committed to it. I'm still going strong after all these years, all these setbacks, all this criticism I got, all this, everything that Google does, everything the internet does, the government, everything, the obstacles that they put in my way does not ever stop me. Did anything stop Jesus? I mean, didn't Jesus just still save the world even though they supposedly crucified him, and he rose from the dead, and he went on and he started the Mormon church and everything else? So if you commit to this, if you're on the side of good in the war of good versus evil, then nothing can stop you. Nothing can hold down a good man. Nothing can hold down a good woman. Women should be in coordination with men. Join together. Get organized. If you're a group of men, you're an unstoppable army. A group of good, holy men, and with their women, all together as a tribe, a tribal nation, which is coming to a theater near you. No, it's actually coming to the world. It's coming together now. I'm the front runner of it, see? I'm the founder of it. It's called Kaiboa. Nothing can stop it. In fact, it's inevitable that we will be victorious. Thanks for listening, everybody.